Hey there, it's Mr. Black, and you made it through 2 days. You survived 2 days of Mars High School Physics. Congratulations. And so it's our first real night of homework, and we're going to get into the universality of math, how important math is, and Miss Adams is going to explain a little bit more about that now. So take it away.
This is what our Chapter 1 is going to entail. We're going to today do work with mathematics and physics, and then we will review measurement and graphing. We're going to remind ourselves how to work with scientific notation, and keep in mind the very most important thing, that mathematics is the language of physics. We understand that mathematics, which is a human invention, of course, was developed primarily for applications to the physical world. So it's natural. It's a very natural combination, math and physics. Galileo, in his time, the entire study of the universe was called philosophy. And he wrote that it is written in this grand book, the universe, which stands continually open to our gaze. But the book cannot be understood unless one first learns to comprehend the language and read the characters in which it is written. It is written in the language of mathematics, and its characters are triangles, circles, and other geometric figures, without which it is humanly impossible to understand a single word of it. Without these, one is wandering in a dark labyrinth. So let's start with something very easy. You might recognize this as the slope-intercept form of a linear equation, where y is going to be our dependent variable. And x is going to be our independent variable, the one that we manipulate. And m is the slope of the line, and b is the y-intercept. So if we take a look at something as simple as this, we want to make sure that we recognize the meanings behind each of the variables and symbols that we have.
Can't stand watching these videos and taking notes anymore. But I need a good grade in physics. I really would like a high grade, like maybe 96% would be sweet. Yeah, 96. I'm not gonna watch these videos. That's about 30 seconds maybe. Ah, 48%? It's the worst grade I ever got in my life. Why, that's easy! You see, you didn't spend much time studying. That's your independent variable. You only had 30 seconds, a little bit there. Your grade was 40%. A little bit there. Right there. The next time, you try studying a little bit more. You get a higher grade. Not bad. Next time you study more. You get a higher grade. Now, that line, that's your M. It shows the relation. This is positive correlation. The more you study, the better your grade. The more you study, the better the grade. Positive correlation. Y equals mx plus b. This is irrelevant. And in this case, we have a positive correlation, and there is a positive effect of studying on your grade in physics.
What we basically want to also do is pick up and brush off our regular old day-to-day mathematics that allows us, for example, to calculate interest
or pay a tip at a restaurant. And looking forward to a delicious breakfast here. Can't wait till the waitress comes and gets my order. Got it? Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I got that right. Oh, I got the tax and oh man, what tip should I do? She was an awesome waitress. I guess 20%, but what's 20% of 1462?
Why, that's easy. You know 1462, a good tip is 20%. And what is percent? That is over 100. Divide by 100, you just take decimal over 1, 2 equals 0.20. 0.2, that's 20%. 1462 times 0.2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 4 is 8. Carry the 1. 1 times 2. 1, 2, 3. Decimals 1, 2, 3. $2.92. It's easy. Remember, percent out of 100.
Well, that's not bad. It's only 1, 2, and $3. That'll do.
All of these are going to be absolutely essential, so you can't just neglect them. For example, let's say you open a CD and you put $10,000 in it for 1 year. If the annual percentage yield is 3.05%, how much interest are you going to earn? One of the best things to do is when you're going to be adding to an original amount, you're going to take 100% of that amount and then add the percentage in that is extra. So in this case, we start with our $10,000. We take the entire $10,000, so that's 100% of $10,000, gives us this number 1. And then we express 3.05%, which is our interest yield, as our 0.0305. Remember that the second digit after the decimal is going to be our numerical value for hundredths. So now if we take that, we have boiled it down to just a very simple calculator, or actually in your head kind of calculation, that the bank will pay you $305 in interest. We're not going to be working in interest and bank yields, but what we will be doing is applying that idea of if you have a percent increase, then you start with 100% of what you began, and then you add the yield. So that's going to be going for any kind of percent change. You are going to be using percentages a lot, especially whenever we're calculating error. Proportions are another very important part of physics. We see that there are many kinds of relationships. The two that we're going to be looking at here is that A is proportional to B, and that means that it varies directly with the value of B. And the second one, which says that A is inversely proportional to B, where B is the independent variable and A is the dependent variable. That's basically what we're looking at here. And so the value of A is going to be inversely dependent on the value of B, simply means that it is going to decrease when B increases. And we know that. I don't think that's anything new.
Howdy everyone. Mr. Kazi coming to you from beautiful Atascocita, Texas, and today I'm bringing to you another algebra lesson, and we're going to talk about how to solve equations. And you must know the golden rule. You can do anything you want to an equation, but whatever you do to one side, do to the other. Very important when it comes to understanding or working with algebra, and this is to help maintain balance. One of the most important things now that you need to do when you are solving equations and working with equations is you must have a target. You must know where you're going. You must know your goal. So you must recognize what you need and where you're going. You must be able to choose your path. All right, let's go to the blackboard.
Come on, Rick! I'm not a prize! I'm not a cynic or one of a drunk. I know my own worth. And then I don't. And then I don't.
You probably recognize this as the statement of the Pythagorean theorem. We're going to be using the Pythagorean theorem an awful lot whenever we are working, so we will keep that pen. And it says solve for b, so you isolate the variable that you're solving for. I'm going to keep it where it is. B squared is equal to, this guy didn't move, so he's going to stay there, and the thing that I subtracted from both sides is a squared. Keep in mind that the laws of algebra say that whatever you do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other. What we want to avoid is that 8th grade stuff where you say minus a squared, minus a squared.
Hey!
Yeah, just don't worry about that. Let's get it down into a form where we are going to be able to, I can never find my little thing. There we go. I want my eraser. We don't want that. You can do that in your head so easily, okay? And in physics, we end up with all these crazy markings. If you're working with something like that, you're going to drive yourself nuts as you try to keep your page clean, okay? So we're almost solved for b. Now I bet you know exactly what we have to do. We have to take the square root of both sides. So b is going to be equal to, as you know, the square root of c squared minus a squared. While we're at it, we might as well review the Pythagorean theorem, where for a right triangle, C is always named the hypotenuse, and the legs are A and B. It doesn't matter whether it's A or B. You could call them, Tom, Dick, and Harry. It doesn't matter. But the C, which is the hypotenuse, is always opposite the right angle. Okay?
Why, that's easy.